Hi, this is from Raleigh Airport. We had a pilot that was inbound to the field. His co-pilot jumped out of the aircraft. He made impact to the ground. His co-pilot jumped out.
Very rarely, if ever, do you hear about a pilot that mysteriously exits the aircraft in flight, and for good reason too. Most of the time the pilot is buckled into his or her seat while flying the aircraft, nor is there really any easy way for a pilot to just fly out of the airplane. However, this was not the case last month. You see, on July 29, 2022, a crew of 2 pilots were operating a routine flight dropping skydivers over North Carolina. After completing 2 runs, the crew returned to the Rayford West Airport to pick up more skydivers. At the controls of the aircraft was 23-year-old Charles Hugh Crooks, who was acting as second in command, or SIC. According to the FAA database, Crooks was a commercially rated pilot who also had his CFI and CFII instructor ratings. The aircraft he was flying was a twin-engine turboprop aircraft, a Spanish-built airplane known as the CASA C-212 Aviocar. In the recently released NTSB preliminary report, the pilot in command noted that during the approach, Crooks was on heading, altitude, and airspeed until the airplane descended below the tree line and dropped. Crooks then discontinued the approach and performed a go-around. However, by that time, the aircraft was already too low to the ground and impacted the runway, resulting in major damage to the right main landing gear. Moments later, though, the aircraft resumed its climb, and the pilot in command took controls while Crooks operated the radios. Personnel on the ground confirmed to the flight crew that indeed there were parts of the right main landing gear scattered along the runway. The PIC then made the decision to divert to the Raleigh-Durham Airport, which has a much longer runway, as well as a local fire rescue team on the field. Here's Crooks notifying air traffic control of their intentions.
We've lost our right wheel. We'd like to proceed to Raleigh and make a landing at Raleigh.
Shady 02, roger, resume on navigation to Raleigh-Durham Airport. Shady 02, say home base of aircraft, persons on board, and fuel in time.
In the airport, we had 2 persons on board. We have enough fuel for the next, we have 2,000 pounds of fuel on board, and that'll last us for the next 4 hours.
Just want to verify, you said you lost the wheel. Was it trying to land at PK Airport?
The Rayford West drop zone and affirmative.
Have some more clarification. Did you try landing over by Rayford West, or did it just fall off on its own while you were still in the air?
I got it. Fayetteville, we were attempting to land. We made contact with the ground, had a hard landing, and decided to go around. And at that point, we lost the wheel, Shady 02.
Quick question. How do you intend to land at Raleigh-Durham?
Flaps 100, get as slow as we can, and I guess we're going to put it on the belly.
Now, while they were en route towards Raleigh, the pilot in command noticed a change in Charles Crooks. After completing the approach and emergency briefings, Crooks became visibly upset from the hard landing back at the Rayford West Airport. What happens next is almost beyond belief. According to the NTSB report, the PIC described that about this time, the SIC opened his side cockpit window and may have gotten sick. The PIC took over radio communications, and the SIC lowered the ramp in the back of the airplane, indicating that he felt like he was going to be sick and needed air. The PIC stated that the SIC then got up from his seat, removed his headset, apologized, and departed the airplane via the aft ramp door. The PIC stated that there was a bar one could grab about 6 feet above the ramp. However, he did not witness the SIC grab the bar before exiting the airplane. Despite everything that just happened, the pilot in command, now flying as a single pilot, continued towards and landed at the Raleigh airport. However, though, as the aircraft decelerated, it veered off the runway, but it was at a fairly low speed and the pilot was unharmed. Shortly after the emergency landing, police and fire rescue located Charles Crooks' body about 30 miles south of the airport in a residential neighborhood in the small town of Fuquay, Varina. And while the preliminary report sheds some light on the details of this event, there's still so many questions that remain, and quite frankly, I don't know if we'll ever get the answers to. For example, what was Charles Crooks' intent when he ran to the back of the airplane? Was he feeling physically sick, or was he just emotionally distraught and just feeling really, really bad about that botched landing that ultimately damaged the main landing gear? And the other part of this event that I'm still scratching my head over is how could the pilot in command have allowed the rear aircraft door to have been opened to such a level where someone could have easily have exited or fallen out of the airplane, especially knowing that Crooks didn't have a parachute when he left his seat. And I'm really curious to know what you think about this event, and ultimately, what are some lessons that are learned that we can incorporate to make ourselves better aviators. Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.